Hello everybody, Colesaurus here, and I know it's been a long time since I've uploaded, but I thought that I needed some time to actually think about this video and make it, because this is going to be my first impressions on Bredl's pythons and how I've enjoyed keeping them as pets. So, let's get straight into it. This is Irwin, my Morelia bredli, Bredl's python, or Centralian carpet python. And if you've seen my National Reptile Breeders Expo video, which will be right there in the corner, you'll see where I picked this guy up, which was from actually that show. I have been wanting one of these for around 4 years now, and I actually finally was able to, because these are definitely a much more, almost like an intermediate species of snake. But they're incredible. That right there could summarize my entire first thoughts or first impressions of Bredl's pythons. So I had huge expectations for keeping a species of Morelia. Obviously, I talked about them long before I actually held this guy, or I bought this guy on the channel. And also, if you go back really far, I'll throw in a clip right now. At a reptile show video that I posted a long time ago, you could actually see me holding a West Papuan carpet python, and that's kind of the snake that made me fall in love with Morelia, actually. So at some point I probably will get a West Papuan just because of that. So Morelia I had high expectations for, and I can say with 100% certainty that Irwin has lived up to the high expectations, if not surpassed them. He's incredibly tolerant and handleable. He's super docile. The only time he's ever struck at me was when he actually was coiling around food and he thought I was giving him more food because he's an idiot. So that's the only time I've ever been struck at by him. He didn't even bite me. I was outside, he was inside, but he struck at the glass. But other than that, I never have seen any aggression from him. Sometimes he throws up like a strike pose, but he's never followed through with it. This is all he does. He just explores. He's incredibly curious. It's so much more interesting than something like a ball python, because ball pythons don't really, do anything. But Irwin is all around. I'll put him all around my neck because he's still really small. I wouldn't do that with an adult Bredl's python, no matter how much I trust it. He climbs up on my headset. He'll perch on headphones. He's great. So another thing that I wasn't really expecting, but that I loved, was when he shed for the first time. I actually didn't know that apparently pythons don't go into blue when they shed. So all of a sudden he just shed one day and he looked even better than when I got him. The breeder said that he was actually going to shed fairly soon after I got him. It took a couple, 1 or 2 months, but still, when he came out, he was, the camera's not doing it justice, but he was this beautiful, almost brick red color. And he still is keeping that. But it's amazing, it really is. And he's also grown substantially since I first got him, probably 2 inches, which means that I actually have to upgrade him out of this tank. Thankfully, I have an extra tank on hand, and I've been working on it. Probably will be a new video in the makes. I don't really know. I've already done quite a bit to it, so it would be kind of weird to start it. Let me know in the comments if you actually want to see the semi-process of actually making Irwin's new tank. And there I could talk a little bit more about Bredl's python's care, because in this video I don't think I'm going to talk too much about it. Something that really scared me when I first got him, and that I still kind of scares me about him, is that when I get him out of the tank and handle him, he makes this puffy noise. And if you know anything about reptiles, you would know that that's a sign of a respiratory infection. So I was really scared when he started doing it. So I did a ton of research. I immediately started doing research, because the thing was, I opened up his mouth. He didn't have excess saliva. He wasn't, his tongue was able to separate. It wasn't just like that. And he wasn't doing it every time he breathed. and he didn't have any nasal or like oral discharge. So I looked it up. Apparently some carpet pythons are just really vocal, and they just kind of make puffing noises. So I'm pretty sure that that's just what he's doing, is that he's just puffing. It still makes me like extremely nervous that he has a respiratory infection, but I have the care like pretty much down, and these are incredibly tolerant snakes. I've almost never heard of one getting an actual respiratory infection. But yeah, so that was a bit unexpected. If any of you guys know anything about that, definitely leave a comment about that if you keep Morelia. But yeah, so I wasn't expecting him to actually puff, but it's kind of cute. At the same time, if I notice like that he's showing any other signs of a respiratory infection, he's going immediately to the vet. But as far as I can tell, he is perfectly healthy in every way. One thing that I will say sucks about Bredl's pythons, and most snakes in general, it's not a specifically Bredl's python thing, it just absolutely sucks, is actually, this happened for the first time yesterday. I actually got defecated on by him. It smells terrible. It smells so bad. It's disgusting. Geckos, I've been pooped on by Leonard more times to count. I've been peed on by Rexette, my big female leopard gecko. And I've been defecated on by like other species as well. Irwin was like the worst. It was so vile and nasty. And it was just a urate. It wasn't like full on feces. It was just a urate, and it was that bad. What's a bit concerning is that he's a baby, and if he did that when he was an adult, the poop would be like well, it's liquidy, so it like spread out to about like that much. So if you're thinking about getting a Bredl's python and you're like squeamish or with poop, may not be the reptile for you. Snakes may not be the pet for you, to be perfectly honest. Or get something small. Get like a gecko, because it's not that bad for them. Especially leopard geckos, they poop in the same place. Bredl's pythons don't. But other than that like minor thing, I would say that keeping him has obviously been, incredible. He's a beautiful snake. He's actually already done an educational thing with me. And he's not only tolerant with me handling him, but tolerant with literally everyone handling him. This is not just a me thing. He's not head tame quite yet, as you can see. But he's certainly getting there. What's one of the funniest things that he does is that he has heat pits, like or all pythons, except for arguably like 2. And he can read the body heat, so he will like come up to your face and like lick your nose, which is adorable. I don't know if he's going to do it right now, but in my live streams, you've probably seen him do it because I get him out in a lot of my live streams. But yeah, he's been great. First impressions on Bredl's pythons, they're amazing pet snakes. I know I said they were intermediate snakes. I would honestly say that like if a beginner did enough research and knew what they were getting into, I would 100% recommend a Bredl's pythons for someone who's never had a snake before. Just because of how like docile and tolerant they are to climate, or not climate, but heat, like different temperatures. And this is like a baby. As you can see, they're a fairly large snake. So I'm not afraid about like hurting him at all, even though he's kind of thin-bodied. And look, he's doing the face thing that I was talking about. See? He reads that my face is hotter than the surrounding area. So yeah, that's what he does. It's really cute. He's extremely curious. Again, much more than a ball python. If you're debating on getting a ball python or a Bredl's python as your first snake, do yourself a favor, get a Bredl's python, and don't get a ball python. Trust me. Just trust me on that one, okay? get the superior snake species, if you will. Not that ball pythons are bad or anything. It's just there's a certain thing, like a couple things that come along with ball pythons that you may not be prepared for. Kind of like feeding. Ball pythons will go off food every so often. Erwin has never missed a meal. His feeding response is insane. He's always hungry, and he's hungry always. He eats every 10 days, and he probably would eat every day if I let him. Obviously, I'm not going to, but he would. But yeah, this is Erwin, my Bredl's python, Morelia bredli, also called the Centralian carpet python, even though they're not even technically in the same species as carpet pythons, but they're really closely related. And they're often kept by the same group of people who keep true carpets, which is Morelia spilota. And if my phone will focus on him. But yeah, he's an incredible snake. Again, first impressions so far, 3 months in, 100% positive. I love him. He's interactive. He's simple to take care of. Stress-free, basically, other than the puffs. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, don't be afraid to leave a like, and also leave a comment saying if you keep Bredl's pythons, what are your impressions of them? What are your impressions from this video? Or like, what species of snakes do you keep? What species would you recommend for beginners? And anything else. If you have questions, feel free to leave those as well. If you want tips on keeping or finding someone who breeds Bredl's pythons, I could definitely help you with that as well. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell notification every time, and so you'll be notified every time I upload an awesome video just like this one. We just hit 320 subscribers, which is crazy because I just made my 300 subscriber special, and we're already, still gaining. I'm strangely enough gaining at a pretty high rate, which is awesome. I'm glad people enjoy my videos. And without further ado, Thefatrat-Xenogenesis and Erwin the Bredl's python signing out. Uh-oh. It's me, Thefatrat-Xenogenesis. Ooh, okay, I'll count that as an Erwin.